Welcome to the first episode of What's in My Mug, hosted by me, Eylül from San Giovanni Academy. So our first episode is going to cover rosemary. So this is what our rosemary bush looks like. It's one single plant and we don't ever cut from the base. What we do is we actually harvest from the upper leaves and allow the plant to regrow. So we have this great huge shrub, and rosemary is a very hard and sturdy plant, so it doesn't need a lot in terms of accommodations. Instead, you want to have dry sandy soil. It's out in the sun, it does not like moisture, so this is what it looks like. After you've harvested your rosemary, you're going to get these very pine-like leaves, and it's gonna be very long. Hi Dr. Gray, how are you? And it's going to lighten as it dehydrates from the vibrant green on the plant. So now that you have your dehydrated rosemary, there's a lot of things that you can do with it. So one of the things that I like to do is use it for herbal medicine. So I'm just going to set up an infusion, a water infusion, or what some people like to call a tea, with the dried. And then you can just leave it to infuse for as long as you want. So water infusions take different infusion times depending on the reason why you are doing these water infusions. So, and I just have it here in this jar, so that way it's easy to access if I want it for a tea or if I want to use it in cooking. Here I infuse it in some alcohol, but you can still see that there is the rosemary leaves right here. It's very distinctive as rosemary, and it's a tincture. So this is an alcohol rosemary infusion, and this is sometimes an option when drinking a tea isn't really for you. Alcohol absorbs quicker, it's faster, and it gives a faster response. But it's not for everyone, so the tea is a safer option. And recently I made a body butter out of this rosemary oil. So this is castor oil that has been infused with rosemary. So you can see the leaves here very distinctively. So this infusion has been going for a while now. The rosemary does not transfer scent to the oil. The essential oil extraction is a different process, and therefore it will give you the smell, but this will mostly smell like what the oil is, because you're not extracting scent, you're extracting the medicinal properties. A lot of people use rosemary oil for different things. So one of the things that I said that I made was this body butter. So you can see that it's shea butter, cocoa butter with herbal oil, and the oil I used was a rosemary infusion, and I also did a neem infusion. So while this infusion is going, let's talk about rosemary, its negative and its positive benefits. So rosemary, we know there's a lot of benefits, but let's talk about the negative aspects of it. Before you use any herbal medicine, you need to consult with your healthcare provider, especially if you're any kind of medication already for your ailments, simply because it will counteract with it or even worsen it. So for example, rosemary reduces cholesterol and blood pressure. So if it is that you're already on cholesterol and blood pressure medicine, you do not want to take it, simply because it's going to give you an even more negative result. For the pregnant woman in our community, again, rosemary contracts your uterine muscles, and therefore it will cause you to have an abortion. So if it is that some people, we don't recommend pregnant women taking herbs, but if it is that you do, please be careful. Most of the negative attributes of rosemary comes with using the essential oil, especially using the essential oil in high doses, and this is because the pure rosemary essential oil is very concentrated, and it's not meant to be consumed as with any essential oil, and therefore it must be used with a carrier oil or diluting agent, so that way you can use the essential oil. Now to the good part. So rosemary acts as a cognitive stimulant, so it helps with brain activity and memory, so it helps with memory enhancing. Rosemary has a lot of nutrients such as minerals and vitamins, so it is a high reserve of vitamin E, vitamin C, vitamin B6, thiamine, and folate. It contains magnesium, calcium, and iron. So these minerals and nutrients make rosemary a really good source for nutrition, especially if it is that you're not very fond of taking supplements. Rosemary also aids in digestion. It helps with the absorption of nutrients, and it can help with anti-inflammatory action. Because it helps with digestion, it can help with upset stomach, constipation, acid reflux, bloating, diarrhea, and gas. It is a rich source of antibacterial and antifungal and antiviral compounds to help with their immune boosting service. Rosemary is always used in companion treatments with other things, simply because it's very good for circulation, and anything for circulation is good for men's health, prostate health and so forth, because circulation controls men's health. Now, things good for circulation means that food that is absorbed into your bloodstream gets carried where they need to go. So if you're not a very mobile person, very stagnant, you don't move a lot, drinking rosemary is one of those herbs that will get the circulation moving. And if it is that you're taking it with other things, it means that the benefits or the nutrients or whatever it is the other herbs are that you're using it in companion with will get to do its action because of the stimulating nature of rosemary. Anything that removes inflammation will remove pain, simply because it's a linked factor, and that high inflammation is going to cause a lot of things to go wrong in your body, and pain is one of the expressing factors that you have something going on wrong with you. And usually this is your body alerting you to tell you, hey, something is wrong, please pay attention to me, especially in this area. And usually your body would do this as a last resort, which means that you've accumulated so much toxins in your system that it has chosen this way of letting you know, hey, please get rid of me. And lastly, rosemary can be used for hair growth and skin regeneration. This is something that I like to use with castor oil, because castor oil has a lot of healing properties in itself. So that is why my favorite infusion is rosemary with castor oil. And I like to use rosemary in my daily life, because I'm somebody that's prone to cuts and bruises, and you just apply the rosemary topically in various forms. And like, for example, this body butter is for removing scars. So it was specifically designed to remove keloid scars. And drinking herbal tea first thing in the morning. Usually my infusion goes on for overnight, but for the purposes of this video, I just did it in this amount. But usually I do it with other herbs that I need first thing in the morning. So Lastly, the last way that I use rosemary is this hair tea. You heard it right, tea for your hair. Now I don't call it hair tea, I like to call it a hair rinse, because it stays in your hair. You don't really, it's something that you use like a rinse. So usually after washing my hair, I don't put a lot of products in my roots, simply because I find that oils in cool will solidify, and my hair roots feel like, the follicles are being pulled at when this oil solidifies at that at the hair root. So instead, what I do is I infuse all the herbs for hair inside here. So our San Giovanni page, actually on Instagram, we have a list of all the herbs that we use. Now that is based on availability of what we have. Sometimes it's less than that amount. Sometimes I might find something else that I want to use, but this has, for sure, I know, we have rosemary in it, hibiscus, cloves, fenugreek, black seeds, tulsi, horsetail, for sure. I can't remember the rest because I usually bulk make it, and I save the pulp and I freeze it for a second boiling. So this is usually something I would put in a spray bottle and spray into my roots twice a day. It's kept in the fridge because it has no preservative in it, and I warm it up a bit, leave it out at room temperature before applying. Now this has allowed me to use the rosemary in a non-oil form, and it doesn't have a bad smell, at least for me, and I'm able to use it and get the results that I want. So these are all, the cool fun things that we can use with rosemary. And you can comment below, and aside from cooking, tell me how you use rosemary.